Well, hey there, folks. Good evening, and welcome in to the Pegasus Actual Podcast for this evening. Very happy to see you tonight. We have author Stephen Welton here. We have Culture Casino, and we have the lovely Raquel Briggs.
Hey, everyone.
And we are going to be discussing Season 3, Episode 10, which is The Passage tonight. And oh boy, this really brought out the feels for me when I was watching it. I thought this was a very powerful episode, and let's just say I may have welled up a bit a couple times watching this one.
Did you cry? Did you cry, Drew?
I did. Not gonna lie.
Hey, sometimes some of these can be rough.
This one was very serious and very emotional. So
it was a great episode. I watched it. I watched it twice.
Yeah. This is one, to me. This was one of my personal ones on my list when I think of season 3 as one of my standouts. So
this one and the one before it. And I'm sorry I missed that one. I was working, but yeah, I mean it's like good double punch of episodes.
No, DJ Odyssey.
Well, here we go.
Here. Hail, DJ.
Hey, Deej.
Foxy Theory number 1. Yes, I am here, even though Drew tried to have me shoved out of an airlock. That is why you didn't see me through the series. Oh, man. Great to see everybody in the chat. Hello, Brightest Day. Hail, Merkel. Hail, DJ Odyssey. Sven, Naked Nordic Ninja. Great to see you. Of course, we had Sporking News Podcast to drop by to drop a like. And he said,
shit. Yeah.
Giving a like, and my friend, you must be honored because Walton doesn't come on my streams anymore.
Don't stream at crazy hours. Damn it, Scott.
That's a good point. Sometimes we want to appear on things, but it's not easy to draw everyone together on one schedule. It's not quite as easy to navigate as we would wish it to be.
At least that's the last year.
Yeah, it's hard.
A lot of us had extra time.
Well, and it's really difficult to see people on stream when they're invisible also. So.
And Scotty is they enjoy Raquel, they enjoy flipping each other's shades. So there's
absolutely he has vampire raids now. So he said he's in quarantine for 2 weeks.
Oh my.
Yeah, he made out with Angelus Draven, and Angelus gave him the vampire raids. So.
I believe it's one of his children that is sick, Stephen. You're casting a false narrative there. Don't
just say, maybe he's lying to you, Culture.
What? Yeah. What's happening here?
Scott wouldn't do that to me. Scott loves me.
Scott wouldn't lie to me.
Scotty, you need to clear this up. And I on both levels, evidently.
Really? That was an awkward silence. Yeah, it is vampire raids. I'll just say it again for a third time. I love Angelus and they're all quarantined. I hope everybody's all right.
After our buddy Angelus Raven got the coup for a little bit, we coined the phrase vampire AIDS.
No, who did that? I think ETEP did.
ETEP did. Yes.
Not we. Not we.
Oh, that's right.
Involved in this.
The culture. The cultured one is above it. Yes. Hail to the Time Prophet. And
did you see that the Time Prophet actually made a sketch of me and then actually colored it in?
Oh, did you know?
No, we haven't seen it on every single live stream you've been on since.
I have to see
it's on the Twitter. No. The Time Prophet did the sketch. You're talking about the other.
Yeah. Well, I thought he did that.
No. Well, he did a portrait illustration.
Nice. Where is it?
Hail to Jay Lee. Great to see you, bro.
Welcome.
Man, yeah, awesome. We've got the chat filling up, and yeah, so let's start off for the evening. Oh, before we do, really quick, I just want to say, man, it was awesome that right before stream, my mom made her way down to see what was going on, and she sat down in the chair for a bit, and she was talking backstage, mainly to Raquel, and I got a chance to finally introduce the two of them, and that was awesome for both ladies. So
I want everyone at home to know that every single time that you put mom in the chat, or you prayed, or you just sent her good feelings, I want you to know that tonight she told me that meant the world to her, and that it raised her morale. So,
beautiful.
Wow. So folks, thanks for doing that for her, and please keep her in your thoughts and in your prayers if you pray. She really appreciates it a lot.
Yeah, this community has been really, really amazing to the both of us, on multiple occasions. But you guys really, the outpouring of love and support has just, it really does uplift her. And, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for that, because, it's great to know that I have amazing friends out there, and that you guys are just really caring people. But even more so, it's just sharing love and sharing positive energy is the thing that will always bring hope, and it really does, and it's definitely demonstrated here with mom. So again, thank you so much, and really and truly, and I do love all of you. Appreciate that.
We love you too.
All right. Well,
except culture.
I love culture very much, and he knows that. But
beautiful, man.
But and I love you too, brother. You know that.
I know that. You send me pics. I don't ask for them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I can't help but send pictures of my dashing Asian self.
Absolutely.
But
it's a nightmare, Raquel. It's a nightmare.
But let's get into the episode. And Raquel, why don't you start us off, honey?
Okay, so the show opens with Athena in a raptor, and she is flying in something that looks like a blinding sandstorm. Culture Casino.
I can't.
I love the naked Steven. Do you know what I mean? The naked Steven. It's like,
I just can't focus with that.
I mean, it's the best, especially on loop. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Damn.
Okay, so Athena's in this sandstorm in a raptor. Then we cut to a shot of the entire fleet, and they're in space. Obviously, it's the entire fleet in front of what looks like some type of sandstorm-like aperture. Then we cut to the CIC. It's Adama and Doc Coddle on the horn with Rosalind. We learn from the dialogue that the food processors have been contaminated, and that Athena has been on a reconnaissance mission. She's investigating an algae that is rank to consume, but is pure protein. They have rations for 7 to 10 days. The situation is dire and rests on Athena's success. She's also running very late. This raises worry in Hilo and the inevitable eyebrows of suspicion in the others. Then we cut to back to Athena, and it's not good. She isn't up to some skin job Cylon plot. Instead, she's coughing. She's being exposed to extreme levels of radiation. We cut to the pilot's quarters. Things aren't so great. They're tossing any extra food into a collection on the table. Starbuck calls Kat out for hoarding her private stash. Lee breaks up their argument. They hungrily divide and devour the shared stash. We cut to Athena. Her raptor experiences sudden and short bursts of flames on the hull. Inside the craft, an alarm is wailing. Athena is on her feet, away from the controls, and is assuming a pre-vomit position, barfing in a spacesuit. That seems fun. She glances at her radiation monitor, and it looks like blue cheese. We cut to the opening credits. Any thoughts on this one, guys?
Well, I was, and when I originally saw it, I was always worried about Athena. Obviously she was being exposed to radiation, it's some kind of form of a storm. It looked very, very dire, right? And that's kind of a rough way to start an episode. So I was concerned. And of course, obviously, reflecting on the fact that the entire armada is running out of food is dire as it is. So it's a whole lot of bad news right up front. So that's a rough way to start an episode.
Yeah. Did you get the impression right off the hop that she was actually flying in an atmosphere? At first, that was my impression. I'm like, oh my gosh, another planet? Is this happening again? So to see that aperture in space, I was shocked the first time I watched it, and then reminded of how weird of an experience it was the second time I watched it. So
see, I thought she was flying through some form of like solar radiation or something. Like she was like dealing with something high intensity. I didn't actually think she was like on a planet, but I could actually understand where that was from. So yeah, it was insane.
Yeah, crazy. Stephen, any thoughts on this opening scene, sir? Stephen's gone potty, unless he's looking at those pictures that Drew sent him of his dashing Asian self. Drew, any comments here? Okay, so we lost everyone. Let's keep going.
I actually heard you like say.
I had myself on mute.
Okay.
I just I boomered it. I admit it. All right, so
that was perfect though.
So Brightest Day points out the wristwatch, the radiation indicators are dosimeters. So
yes.
Okay, so. Yeah, I thought it was interesting, and hail to Heelan, by the way. Great to see you, buddy. With the way that, it was just like a rough patch of space. I guess you think of it as like traversing, really rough conditions if you're thinking about
going through an Australian desert,
It's Stephen, that's exactly what it was evocative of, and we later find out that it's actually a star cluster. So it's quite neat. It's a cool way to
Sorry, I need to cut you off.
No, it's okay. You can interrupt me anytime you like.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry.
What do you mean? I love it. I come from speech and debate, so I love it. If you have something important to say and you don't want to sit on it, you just shout it out.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
DJ Odyssey gives us the trees.
Thanks, Mitch.
I think he's equating it to the jungle, or it could be the Walton trees.
Oh, Lord. Really? No, you say it's a star cluster, so it's a huge expanse. It's not like it's inconceivable that that it would be difficult to get around. And the stars, the gas, the radiation, that is hell. That's hell in space right there.
Yeah.
Hail to our friend Justin Normie, aka Scott, who has been on this program a couple times. Great to see you.
TMF.
And TMF is here.
Welcome.
Aperture in space or sphincter in space. Sounds like a clusterfuck to me.
Yes.
And that's pretty much what it turns out to be. TMF is spot on.
Oh no! Oh gosh! Oh god!
What's up, time prophet? You bastard!
Oh, all right. Go on, Raquel.
Okay, so after the opening credits, we zero in on a Cylon base ship. A solo somber piano plays as we join Beers in bed, still swinging the menage a trois with Six and Gaius.
Word.
She removes Gaius's hand from her back as though she is sickened by his touch. This is the writing team's signal that Beers isn't in love, but merely satisfying her carnal desires. Beers tries to leave without stirring Gaius and Six, but Gaius wakes up and questions her. Beers excuses herself. Gaius tells Six he's curious about what the Cylons do all day, especially beers. He likens their existence to that of blood-sucking parasites on a family pet. What a lovely boyfriend. Gaius fracks fleas, a fitting tribute to his own character. Flea 6 confides in Cat Gaius that the skin jobs are watching beers as well, as she's taken to sneaking away to quote-unquote do things. Any comments on this one, guys?
And he
Wow.
really thinks a lot of his ladies, doesn't he?
Flea 6?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, man, Raquel, you had like, oh, jeez.
That's exact. Ask Walton. Please ask my pal Stephen Walton. That is exactly what Gaius says in bed.
That's
He's
exactly. Yep.
That's what he calls them, and it's really gross.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you guys do all day? What do you care, dude? You're not dead and you're getting laid. What do you why are
And
you
you're having a
insulting?
menage a trois with two beautiful women.
Right.
You could not get in real life because you're not tall enough to get on the ride. So
Ooh.
what are you bitching about?
Well, and there's the fact that, oh, by the way, insult, two beautiful, like half robot, half human women that have super strength that could kill you. Yeah, I think I'd be on my P's and Q's. Just saying.
Brightest Day says it's called pillow talk. Shh.
Guys knows how to treat his simps.
Yeah, so Brightest Day often refers to his lovers as blood-sucking insects, evidently.
Hail, Lady Mist. Great to see you.
Good evening, Lady Mist.
Poor
You
Lady
just walked
Mist
in at the
probably-
wrong time.
She probably came in and said, "Oh, geez, what the hell did I come into?"
What the hell are they talking about? Hail, Lady Mist.
Oh, the time prophet says, "At just a normie, he is a tremendous person, deciduous in manner."
Oh boy. Oh boy. TMF needs to correct the quality of the puns. We need to leave the dad zone.
Oh, DJ Odyssey said, at Supreme Heretic and Steven, I thought this was DS9 talk. Dang, I came on the wrong day.
Sorry, Deej.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Time Prophet says, why did Cylons develop an STD to wipe out the Galactica? As many people as
it would have worked.
It would have went around.
Yeah, as many people that were fracking on that ship.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, geez. All right, Raquel. Get us back on.
All right, we cut to Athena docking on Galactica. A whole team in radiation suits helps her disembark. Hilo looks on anxiously. Athena's nose is bleeding, and the decontamination team ushers her through a makeshift decon process. She tests negative and immediately informs Adama, who is standing by, that there is a way through what she calls the star cluster. She tells Lee and the old man that they can access the planet that grows the protein algae they need to prevent starvation. Hilo points to her radiation meter. The story turns to how a skin job can withstand that type of exposure, but not the humans. And I'll stop right there. Any comments on this one?
Well, yeah, they kind of just reinforce the fact that listen, the Cylon men and women, obviously, and they kind of alluded to that to some degree in the miniseries with what was going on with the Leoben model in there, but they expanded on it here, and they really kind of said, given certain conditions, with the Cylons being, artificial and mechanical to a degree, they can withstand certain things past human tolerance, which is
right.
It's good that they acknowledge that. I mean, we kind of knew because we've seen their abilities demonstrated where they have like I wouldn't say superhuman strength, but above average strength, and everything else. And
Well, what's
You
the
know.
first to fail in radiation sickness? I'm not aware, but wouldn't that be the internal organs
say
in
that.
charge of filtration? So if we're looking at a cyborg, we can probably surmise that that there would be those major internal organs, those filtration organs. They wouldn't be they wouldn't be vulnerable to radiation, or at least far less vulnerable to radiation, because
Mhm.
radiation can affect computers and liquids and anything around it, can it not? I don't know. I'm not a radiation
Yeah,
expert.
I don't know culture.
Oh, I have no idea. I know that I'm just saying. You definitely have, acute renal failure,
Yeah,
along with
right?
other things that go along with that. So I imagine kidneys, liver go first.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, and then lungs. I mean,
Yeah.
tissue regeneration speeds are different for different organs in the body.
Right.
But yeah, you just end up being a pile of goo.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Time profit. Oh yeah, I have a feeling Cylons developed Cylon women because a woman is cheaper than CGI. Now.
Wow.
Oh man.
That says way more about you than it does about the comic. So bad. So bad. Brightest day. Let's move on to brightest day.
Oh man, culture needs the Ellen Ty avatar for full round of hot ones. Aw.
Oh,
Aw.
Brightest day likes Ellen.
Yeah.
She is
Uh-huh.
she is a beautiful lady, and can I say that I absolutely love it when men like adult women. I think that an adult man loving an adult woman is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Oh yeah, I kind of like the cougar types every now and then.
Well, I don't mean the cougar types. I just mean this more age appropriate thing. Like when you're looking at Star Trek, the original series, you're looking at women who have crow's feet. You're looking at and these darling, gorgeous women. A lot of them are older ladies. They're not all trying to look like they're still teens.
Mhm.
So I think that that's a pretty courageous casting, and I think it speaks to the integrity of the entire franchise as far as Battlestar Galactica goes, because these are women, not post-pubescent girls. So it's really cool to see that, right? Especially when we're watching Rosalind and the old man. Yeah, it's a very beautiful and romantic thing.
Oh man, that Steven just can't catch a break tonight. Boxy 32. Boxy spends all day and night in hazmat suits, cleaning up the moist, sticky mess from all these dang humans trying to procreate. Worse than the sap on.
Oh,
DJ.
why is everyone so mean to my Steven? I love my Steven.
Oh, they're just playing.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
it's a joke. It's a good joke.
Everybody laughs.
Don't trees sap? Trees sap, right? So yeah. So I mean, you got good wood, Steven.
Time Prophet says, I will back that up by saying that I do CGI, so I know how much work goes into it. And
that makes far more sense. Thank you very much for qualifying that. Okay, so we cut to the CIC. All senior personnel, including Rosalind, discuss the viability of accessing the radioactive path to the planet. It's logistically impossible. The old man grows silent. It's possible if vipers are paired with raptors. They gain the advanced radiation protection of a viper and the superior nav control of a raptor. They have to do 5 round trips. Lee holds a pilot's meeting and debriefs them on the radiation protocols and the use of stimulants for consciousness. Kat freaks out. Starbuck mocks her hypocrisy as a former addict. Lee waves off the stimulants as voluntary. Any comments here?
No. She's gonna freak out. She doesn't want to take them, right?
She doesn't, because she doesn't want to get addicted again.
Yes, I'm like really. I have to be honest with you. Starbucks turning me off.
I was kind of upset about that too. It was like I sort of felt like the writers betrayed like Starbucks character and made her sort of step out of her true character, because that's not really who she is.
Well, she's been a pretty degrading person for a while now, actually.
I mean,
she treats people like shit.
That's true. That's true. I'm not going to deny that. That's true.
Yeah, she's been a hot mess this season, and she's been like really just you know.
I'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, she's lashing. Well, no, she's lashing out, and she's just she's just being a downright bitchy human being. Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, all these people have been under stress for a while now, so it exasperates all their negative attributes anyway. But he's been terrible, especially to people she cares about, which is an awful person. That's not how you care about somebody. You don't treat them like shit.
That's right.
Look how
Mark D with a C just walks through the door. Mark D with a C. I love you. It's so good of you to show up here. Love you. Love you. Mwah, mwah.
Hail, Mark. Great to see you. The thing with Kara though, and a number of them that came back from New Caprica that were down on planet side.
Yeah, that planet did mess her up though. Yeah,
it messed up a lot of the personnel.
Yeah.
Steven's right.
Yeah. So right now you're dealing with a number of undesirable characteristics coming out of what are normally, people that have it somewhat together.
Right.
Yeah. Pugilism doesn't solve all the world's problems. They were going to need more than one evening of boxing or pancration in order to, excise the demons. And evidently, Kara is becoming a lot more prickly than she was before.
How long did she spend with Leoben? Right?
A long time, pretty much the entire time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she was.
I think by the story standard, she mentioned. I want to say it was 6 months.
Yeah. So I mean, of course, she's still reeling from that.
Yeah.
But
she lived with Norman Bates for like 6 months.
Yeah, totally understandable. But if we go back to the time jumps from before that and how she treated Lee, and her husband, and how she has like. I don't know. Yeah. It's hard to watch characters that you really love or have enjoyed just act in the worst aspects of human behavior. There's no story.
Can I ask how you feel about that as an author? Because as an author myself, the first thing I think of is what a daring and dynamic step to take forward. Because we all have times in our lives where we're jerks, and being able to add that to a television character is pretty daring, because once people get a taste of a certain character and they have certain expectations of a character, they can get turned off or have a preconceived notion of how the character will react. And here we're seeing, oh my goodness, like, wow, she's taken a turn for the worse. She's a total see you next Tuesday.
Well, I think it fits along with the story is kind of a reflection of humanity.
Well, you got to remember though, like both of you, Raquel and Steven, don't forget she had existing heat with Kat. Like they don't exactly like each other.
Yeah, but just wait 1 second. I beg your pardon. You just cut Steven off at the pass. So, Steven, do you want to round that corner and tell me what you were going to say? Is this a step you would take? Oh, not at all, Drew. I love that you're excited. It's important to be able to have a spirited talk about it. But, Steven, is this something you would do? Would you be this daring with a television character? Is this something you would do?
It depends on the type of story. This is a reflection of. This is kind of this show is kind of a reflection of humanity. So you only have so many characters to work with, and you have to kind of go to extremes. So in that type of story, yes, but personally, only very rarely would I do that.
Yeah, it's dangerous, but you raise a good point. When you're trying to hold the interest by using those nucleus, those central characters, you may have to push them to their limits and beyond the limits of how you originally conceived them. So, what a wonderful thing to say. Thank you, Stephen. And Drew, go ahead and pick it up with what you were going to say. Sorry for derailing you there.
No, I'm just saying, it's also you can chalk it up to the fact that these two women have an issue with one another. Starbuck obviously doesn't like the fact that Kat she feels like Kat has always played a game of one-upsmanship with her, and
well, that's about look at the story with Scar, though.
and they have had a sort of heat and disdain for each other since that Scar episode.
Well,
and that
powers,
and that was never resolved. So you're seeing that here, and she's taking it out on Kat because she really doesn't care. She's basically like, fuck your feelings, Kat. You're a bitch. Yep. I don't like you.
Yeah.
And so she's gonna take a jab at her at every step because she clearly doesn't like her.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Any thoughts, CC?
I actually enjoy the cat fight between the two girls, but I see what you did there. Yeah. I always have, and I thought it was great. It fit with her name, and and of course you have two alphas. I mean, I know there's alphas usually considered guys, but in this case, it's two women that are alphas, and I always thought it was really good writing. Because these are very elite pilots. And in fact, at a certain point, Kat takes the Top Gun away from Starbucks. So it's it's kind of neat. I mean, I of course that's me. I mean, I'm a toxic male, so that's. but I liked it.
But I'm glad you bring up that point though, Culture, because it's very reminiscent, and listen, they've even said it on things that I've watched about BSG via the commentaries where they were kind of going for that vibe between Kat and Starbuck being like Maverick versus Iceman in the first half of Top Gun. If you're watching it, because you can see that they clearly have heat with one another. There is a very jealous, competitive thing there, but there's also like at first they just absolutely don't like each other, and you're seeing that except you turn the volume up to 11 on all that, and you're seeing that play out right here.
Yeah.
And this has been playing out from back since season 1, really, because Kat still hold it against Starbuck that she was going to pull the plug on the Nuggets originally. We go all the way back to when we were talking about season 1 in Act of Contrition, and she prematurely washed him out. And I think Kat holds a grudge about that too. Towards Starbuck.
Back then, Starbuck was a mess. So, but
I
do love the fact that CC raises the point that we are traditionally, in a traditional sense, we're used to seeing men fight for the top spot, and here we're watching women behaving just as badly. And so, in that way, I think it's really cool because it makes you think about just how much adrenaline one would require to do their job. To actually do their job. I mean, it's not just piloting, a Viper or a Raptor, but in this case, it's a Viper, and having to kill and constantly being afraid that you're going to be killed, and making sure that you're killing enough to keep your people alive. And so it really does help you consider what it would actually take in real life. So I love that comment, Cece.
Yeah. All right, let's catch up on the chat real quick before we get back into our discussion here. Toxic Man Flu says, Boxy Theory, hashtag Ring of Fire, donning a spacesuit to avoid catching Spurpies. Boxy takes out a drum of what Doc calls Prep H to try and soothe the burning itch of the giant space sphincter. DJ Odyssey said, I'm sorry, Steven, just trying to fill the void of no parrot head, Tommy, etc., 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 etc.
Oh, I forgot those bastards weren't here. Now you're good, Deeds. Love you, man.
Parrot head's here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Parrothead did make his way in.
Parrothead!
Yeah.
I see you, baby.
Yeah. And Brightest A mentioned that Kat has had stim problems. Yes, that's been a big deal. You know, that's been a point of contention. She had that stim addiction. But so did Starbuck.
48 minutes past the hour, Mark D with a C. I'm not going to ask how TMF's mind works, but I love it.
Yeah, Mark, she's a toxic man flu. I've been pining for your job. Brightest Day says, excise demons. Is that what we're calling it? Oh, geez. Oh, geez. No, you're not a jerk. Wow. Scott Justin Normie says, I couldn't stand Kat's character. I think it was the character actor. I thought Luciana Caro did a good job. That's her name, Luciana Caro. I thought so too. I thought that she did a good job. You know, man, Scott, if you were on this panel right now, I don't know, me and you might be fighting, bro. Not gonna lie.
You're wearing Starbuck and you got a thing for Kat.
Funny enough, I usually agree with Drew on just about everything in Battlestar Galactica, but I'm gonna side with is the gentleman's name Scott?
Yeah,
Scott. I'm going to side with him. Kat was never my favorite character, and I didn't find her portrayal of the character to be quite as strong as the rest of the characters, men and women included. I actually agree with that comment, even though now I'm going to have to duck because the panel's going to throw food at me.
No, I'm not going to throw food at you.
I agree with you, Scott. Yeah, I think so.
I think the appropriate response for this, I need to find that clip or the clip of Greta Thunberg now. You know, how dare you?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then right after that, I want you to show koalas in the rain. No F's given.
Oh man, you know, screw you, Scott. Yeah. Yeah, man. Brightest State said it's not that hot to take. I've had people tell me they don't like a whole bunch of characters. Yeah.
The thing about the show, it's like I said, it's kind of a reflection of humanity. They had to condense it down into so many characters and supporting characters, and you're not going to like all of them, you know. And it's kind of some of the endearing qualities of a few of them is that they're detestable, you know, like their behavior. But everybody, like almost everybody, gets a hero moment at one point.
Yeah,
you know?
They do. They do.
I do want to say a warm thank you, by the way, to Brightest Day, tipped $5. We also had Boxy tipped $5. Thank you guys. Yay! You know, because listen, we have to get creative on this channel. We're not monetized here yet, so you know, so we find other means, and it's so wonderful that you guys are bringing your ideas forth via, you know, that you would in a super chat in this manner. And I'm just so humbled and grateful for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And especially during this time, because I know it really does help for Mom and I. So thank you so much. Yeah. Oh gosh, TMF. Boxy Theory, #Waltons. With a rush of inspiration that borders on brilliance, Boxy takes out a raptor and uses the onboard Cylon Keurig to provide a coffee enema of the giant space needs.
Oh my! Oh TMF.
Cylon Keurig.
How much I love him!
Wow,
Cylon Keurig.
That's pretty twisted.
Yeah,
I love it.
Oh geez. Oh, and Toxic says the trees and Siemens yards have been arrested on prostitution several times. So far, the John has eluded arrest.
Oh my! Oh my.
Wow.
Oh,
So that's
God.
how he's getting sapped, TMF. Thank you for clearing that up for us.
Well, he's strangely sticky in places. I'm just gonna say.
Oh no, something tells me this is going to catch on to be bigger than
Yes.
the coffee thing.
Yes,
No, please, no.
yes,
God.
yes. Oh. All right, let's get back into it. Go ahead, Raquel.
Mark D with the C, please. Can I please have Stephen read 53 minutes past the hour? Stephen, please read that from my friend Mark D with the C.
Toxic Banthu is a toxic imagination connoisseur. Yeah, him.
So good, so good. Okay, we cut to the civilian organization of the plan. Duala is sending folks to and fro. Kat walks into the scene and is stopped by a super greasy dude who is calling her Sasha. She turns towards our newly oily friend and denies knowing him. We get some intimate dialogue here. Kat and Mr. Unctious used to bump uglies. She dumped him and took on a new identity. He asks if the military knows about her real history. She walks away from him. Then we cut to the base ship. Gaius corners and confronts Beers in a corridor. It's revealed Beers has been killing herself and resurrecting over and over. Then we cut to an alcove on Galactica. It's Kat and the guy with the French fry hair. Turns out his name is Enzo, and he wants to extort Kat for food. They have a semi-sexual close-up, and Kat takes off. And I'll stop there because that's 3 scenes. Any comments from the chat or the panel?
Come on, guys, you can do it.
I really didn't like this guy from the word go. So I mean, he was a skeezy dude.
So oily, like, dude, just
Yeah,
take
he
a
was.
shower. You know what I mean? Like,
Wash your ass, right?
So greasy. And I mean, in that way, like, I think that maybe the person who was doing hair and makeup went a little overboard on this one, because it's like, okay, we need somebody who looks like a skeezy drug dealer. How can we make him look unctuous? And instead of allowing him to sort of portray that through his visage or mannerisms, they just douse him in a whole bunch of oil. He looks like he's been rolling in French fries. What happened to this poor slob?
Rolling in French fries. Damn.
Anyway,
That's a weird kink.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, ditto to everything you just said.
I love you so much, Stephen. How I've missed you. Cece, what do you think of these scenes?
Like I said, I did not like this dude from the beginning. He was skeezy, creepy. He was a scumbag. He was using a little bit of information to kind of, betray someone. I mean, this is outright betrayal. I mean, some people call it blackmail. I call it betrayal. And like I said, I did not like this guy, and I don't think you were supposed to. So good job on the writing. And
right.
Yeah. Yes, we got it right there, and this wasn't going to be like a major arc. We knew that this was going to go down all in one episode because he is rolled in French fries and then presented as the man rolled in French fries.
Yeah, writing good, oil bad.
That's his character, right? A descriptive man rolled in French fries.
That is exactly what it said. I love this. I love this. Chat, are you hearing CC on this? This is great. Okay, so we cut to One-Eyed Ty taking a stroll down an empty corridor. He stops. He's pensive. He's passed by a nobody. He rubs his chin. He's clean and in full military dress, sporting a new eye patch. Then we cut to the CIC. It's the old man. He's taken notice of the door to enter. It's Colonel Ty. The colonel hesitates, clean and sober, fully dressed for duty, beyond the door. We cut back to Ty's side of the door. He takes a deep breath and walks into the CIC. Then now we're in the CIC, and it erupts in applause. Ty half-heartedly admonishes them, chiding them to get back to work. Ty takes Adama's side. What are your thoughts on watching our great colonel return to the CIC, gentlemen?
Colonel Ty should have just started talking trash on every single person, whip up some fear. How dare they even clap? That's not what he's there to do. He's there to give them shit.
Oh man! Hey, hail, Tony, Root Korean.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, Toxic said, "LOL, I tipped as anonymous. Me, the attention whore." If that indeed was you, whoever anonymous is, thank you so much for the $25. Oh, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Yes.
Root Korean says, "Hail, brightest day."
Dude,
Stephen would know all about weird kings.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Why? Because he likes trees? Yes, that's what it is. Trees.
Oh God, Time Prophet.
Oh no.
Oh.
If he grows a giant birthmark on his cheek, I'm out of here. I'm just out of here.
Oh man. TJ says rubber tree plants.
They got to put more effort into it than that. I mean,
Walter uses Tresemme because he's worth it to take off on the Tresemme commercials.
Mhm.
Wow, that's really sad. No, everyone here has long hair, so we all got that joke.
Hey, I don't. I'm like Mr. Bald is beautiful, but that's all right. I'll stand up for the bald.
His pubes are down to his knees, though. So
Okay, so there you go. So you have use of their conditioner. We highly recommend it as people with long hair.
Oh man. Time Prophet said, "I am wondering why Adama doesn't make paper animals and leave them all around the E Galactica." Oh man. Oh jeez. Scott.
Oh.
Oh man. Brightest Day says, "Oh, I'm pollinating so hard." Stephen Walton.
That sounds like Steven.
that's funny.
That 100% sounds like Steven.
Stephen Walton is feared more than fire by the
Yeah. And Steven's the only guy.
Steven and Ent? That's crazy.
Oh, God.
And Steven's the only guy I know that has to go into the forest with lubricant and a fire extinguisher.
Creative.
Oh, geez.
Very, very creative.
Rip Korean says, "Do the triple once." Oh man, yeah. Time Prophet said that was a reference to Blade Runner. Oh, nice.
Very
Dude.
nice, very nice.
I see you're a man of culture, Time Prophet. Great.
A nerd. Well done, nerd.
Oh no! All right, so let's continue, Raquel.
Okay, we cut to the execution of the plan, and now the details are crystal clear to the viewer. The civilian ships, with virtually no radiation protection, have been emptied. They are towing the civilian ships in a shepherd sheep mission. Oh boy, the jokes about shepherds and sheep, they're going to be aplenty. It's actually in the show. I did not create that simile myself.
Hey guys, we could go with the whole Dukes of Hazzard thing. Shepherd the lost sheep. Shepherd the lost sheep.
Yeah, I don't think that's the direction they're going to go. However, I digress. The Vipers and Raptors working in unison to navigate and tow ships through the cluster radiation. The team experiences the same sandstorm-like conditions, and they begin to panic. We cut to the hull of Galactica, holding all of those civilians, and it experiences the same crackle and intermittent fire on the hull. Adama calls Lee and tells them they need to jump. Hot Dog goes into full panic mode. The shepherd has lost his sheep. The writing here is not so good. It could have been made far more clear what's at stake for Hot Dog's contingent. Does he have an empty radiation vulnerable ship or a civilian ship filled with people? It's not clear in the presentation, and that sucks. To be clear, it's not that I don't know what the writers are trying to achieve here. It's that I don't agree with the execution. Anyway, they all jump away, and Hot Dog is screaming in anger. He's in full-on meltdown mode. Then we cut to the CIC. First trip is complete. 4 more to go. The Adriatic is officially reported as lost by Gaeta. Pushed to the brink of survival, Ty and the old man remark on the loss, but press on. Herein too, the viewer is left questioning ship or people. We go to black. And I'll stop there. Any comments on this, guys?
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree with you, Raquel. This is where it kind of got a little murky, little unclear in spots. I get the concept of the mission, but I was kind of a little bit. It was lackluster in the execution, so I can.
Well, this is where I sort of start to feel like maybe we had the episode is a cup, and we filled the cup, and now the cup is overflowing into the saucer. They're trying to fit way too much into the episode, and they can't flesh out the ideas in a way that in a way that's meaningful. This is like the second or the third time I've watched Battlestar Galactica, so even for me now on the rewatch, it's standing out even more. Any comments, Stephen or Cece?
No, I'm good. I think you guys hit on what I would say.
Oh, Wicked. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Stephen?
Wicket the Ewok?
She's from Canada, dude.
Okay, so we cut to the fourth star cluster trip. Kat's lost the Carina. Again, is this people or is this about a ship? They jump away without the Carina. Then we cut to Kat's decon on Galactica. Hot Dog follows. While Kat looks depressed and despondent, Hot Dog is puking his guts out and falls to the floor. We stay with Kat's psyche for a while. She pans the room to moody epic music meant to be evocative of her total internal breakdown. Lee draws the zombified pilots in for a pep talk. Kat complains. Lee ignores it and presses on to rouse them to fight for survival. The shepherd sheep mission isn't over yet. Lee orders the pilots to rest, and we cut to the CIC. It's Adama and Ty having a meeting about the insanity of the whole situation. They share a laugh over everyone eating paper, as a paper shortage means there's nothing to file and no way to file it.
That was funny.
Yeah, they are exhausted. So I'll just take a second here to pause.
Yes.
Any comments, everyone?
Oh, no, but before we comment on it, we got to go to the chat because, oh boy, Raquel, you started something.
Well,
so let's start with the Boxy theory from DJ Odyssey. Boxy is very sad. He's seen this was supposed to be the passage, but all he found was tree sap, paper figures, and smashed French fries that looked rolled all over in some section.
This is an epic comment. Great comment, Deej.
Well done, sir.
And then Deej says, "Dirty deeds done with sheep."
Wow.
That is the best Bon Scott album. What a great reference. Love, love, love those comments, Deej.
Oh God! Tony says, "Shiny happy silent holding." Oh man! Oh man! Oh God! Tox. There's a website called WaltonWoodFarm.com, and it sells things like Stinkbuster foam bath and Year from Hell hand rescue.
Oh. I'm actually crying.
Time Prophet says, since Steven had his rant, I keep getting comment artist pro in my YouTube feed. It's a conspiracy, I'm sure. Windowpoon76 says, got wood for sheep.
Oh my. Oh my.
DJ follows up and says, hot dogs and sheep? Oh man, and we just got everybody's Scott says,
Lady Mist, you guys have gone so far off of the road. You are so far into the Bulgia, slathering poop on yourselves. The poor Lady Mist just responded with, did I watch the right show?
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
Toxic says, I would never kid about sheep jokes. It is bad form.
Oh my.
Or is it bad form?
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Oh, God.
Shame on you, Cece. So bad.
Oh,
So funny and so bad.
Marquis says, who's going to cover my medical bills for
Hey, it's
laughing
good
too
for
hard?
your abs. Everyone has stay-at-home abs. This is good for your abs.
Yeah, yes, it is. We'll give you the ab workout here. Oh man! All right. So let's try
To continue.
to talk about this a little bit. Again, I kind of like the fact that they have that moment of levity in the CIC, that they're trying to bring at least a little levity to the situation in the discussion between Ty and the old man. But yeah, overall so far it's like you really kind of get the sense that the mission is, I mean, it's going okay. They're getting some of the ships across, but it is still like kind of going off the rails. So yeah, it's again, I still think they could have conveyed the mission and the execution better than what they did.
Yep.
We needed the mission parameters. That was fine, but the execution could still have been a little bit better.
And it's telling because it's sort of like, have you ever met someone who tried to fit into a pair of pants, perhaps exercise pants, and they're a little bit small for them? That's how this feels. So you're sort of watching somebody trying to stuff themselves into their Lululemons, and it's not quite working out.
Did you just compare this episode to a muffin top?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's exactly.
Gotcha.
Well, I was gonna compare it to making sausages, but why would I ever do that in this room? It's not something I would ever want to do.
You don't want to go down that road. Not with this cat.
No, I had to grapple for something else.
Mark D with the C said, "This is a serious episode, right?" I want to give some props to a guy with a great channel in his own right, Danny, aka Comic Chat. He said, "What up, Supreme H? Just popping in to support you." Danny, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out.
Yes.
Dude, this is something, Danny, if you get the opportunity to watch Battlestar Galactica, this is something that we do every Thursday, man. And we have a little roundtable about BSG and talk about the episodes, and we're up to season 3, man. So you can watch it for free on Peacock, which I can't ever say Peacock.
It's a free cock. Yeah.
But you can watch it
also
on
Peacock. Amazon Prime. But for anyone who's listening at home via podcast, or you're a part of the active chat and you're watching this as a show, you should know that the numbers are out of order depending upon the streaming service you use.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, Peacock, they have it separated. I think they're like one off because the first episode of season 3 was shown together, even though it was a 2-parter.
Yeah. So when you're referencing the shows we watch, depending upon what country you are, because this is an international format, the only way that you may be able to access Battlestar Galactica is through Apple TV or the Amazon Prime. If that's the case, please know that it's actually going to be one number behind, and to make sure that you check the title of the show, not just the number.
It's on peacock.com. Danny, it's NBC's streaming service, so it's called Peacock. It's easy to find, and Peacock, all you gotta do is make an account, and you can watch pretty much most of the stuff on there free with ads.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay anything for.
Yeah, it's decent.
Mark D with the C says, "My pants always shrink in the closet."
Toxic Man Blue says, "Wood, sheep, squealing pigs, tight pants. Are we watching Deliverance?"
Oh my goodness.
Can
I just say, I love this chat. I love this whole community. I love you all so very much. You are hysterical.
Yeah, Time Prophet says, "Is the pirate order the correct order?" Jeez. Oh man. Yeah, Danny, it's great to see you in here, hanging out, participating. I really think if you give this show a chance, you'll enjoy it. If you need a more specific guide, I can send you links after the show to help you find it easier if you're going to start watching it. So yeah. No,
Yeah, if you like space drama, you will enjoy it. It's probably one of the best shows ever made.
And this is a drama, Danny. So it's not like typical sci-fi. It's pretty deep.
It's not really science
deep.
fiction. It's more science fantasy, but it does have science fiction sometimes. It's sort of like a mixture between the two. And can we please talk about some of these comments that are going on in the chat? They're pretty ridiculous. Like Mark D with the C saying, cue the space banjos. And Time Prophet saying, for those about to chop, we will prune you.
I want to give Tony some credit for trying to maintain some decorum here. Yeah, and he's trying to actually drop a history nugget here. Jim Lovell, an astronaut of Apollo 13, told a story about flying at night in the Pacific in 1953. His instruments and lights failed, and there was zero visibility. He found his carrier by algae left in the carrier's wake.
Very nice. Good one, Tony.
So, Tony trying to drop some intellectual stuff. I like it. Dropping some history. I'm down with that. I'm a history buff. So, thumbs up for me, brother. Oh, man.
Thumbs up and wood down. Timber.
Oh, my Lord.
DJ said, Danny, forget this one. Get the one from 78. Way better. All right. DJ, you're right. That will trigger Drew.
We don't discriminate actually between the two of them because of the fact that they were very open in redoing the show, where they were saying, look, this isn't a reboot. We're going to actually reimagine it because the story is so special and great. We're just going to flash it forward a little bit and modernize it, but we're not going to ruin anything that came before. So it's not retconning, and it's not turning it into some sort of big thing. So we don't discriminate around here as far as that goes. We like both versions of Battlestar Galactica.
Time Prophet, damn you! No, you're not supposed to make sense. In space, no one can see algae. Yes. Oh, jeez, oh man. Yeah. No, Danny. Yeah, there were two versions of this franchise. There was one in 1978, and there was the one in 2001, and they are actually very good. And I think you would appreciate both of them.
I gave this one a chance because I love the original so much.
Yes.
That's what made me excited for it.
Yes. And it doesn't try and erase the first Battlestar Galactica, and I think that's pretty fundamental for fans, and it should be a lesson to other IPs. I would also just like to highlight the fact that Parrothead at 14 minutes past the hour has said Steven's favorite tree is a knotty pine.
Is that a thing?
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. I appreciate it, guys. All right. Let's get back on track. So go ahead, Raquel.
We join Starbuck on the hangar deck as she spots Kat and Greasy Enzo having a shove fest on the balcony above. Then we cut to Gaius and Beers, now having a private jam session over Beers' foray into repeated resurrection. Gaius wants to know if she's dreamt that he's a skin job, as her passage to the Cylon afterlife is rich with visions and dream walks. I've never liked this part of the new BSG. I find it unbelievable that Gaius wouldn't use his genius and his time to create another testing program, especially with all the access to Cylon tech. Also, why would Gaius need Beers' dreams? Surely the Skin Job Council would know the nature of the founding models. This would be the subplot to explore here as far as I'm concerned. Gaius gets into the Cylon database, and merely placing his hand into the communications soup goop would tell him what was going on. Anyway, Beers shows us her dream walk drawings. Gaius says Cylons and humans both struggle with the nature of identity. And I'll stop there. Any feedback on these comments?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree. You know, there should have been some more exposition, but that's just me.
Stephen?
No, not really. I just wouldn't. I didn't care. One of those moments where like, yeah, I don't even care about this. Can we get back to the star cluster, please? I just don't even care.
It's more of that sausage stuffing again. Like you're trying to, you're trying to put way too much weight on the elevator. Just leave it alone, right? It's already full, and it's about to get even more full as they try and overstuff it. So anyway, I think CC wanted to interject. CC, you were going to say something, sir?
Oh, I assure you, nothing important.
Yeah, I do want to. I do. I want to get your guys' take on Stone Cold Jeremy's comment, because I think this is a really cool comment right here. He said, "I have to admit, when this iteration of BSG came out, I was biased as I grew up on Lorne Greene and the original. Yeah. But halfway through season 1, I grew to like it a lot, and I think that is a sentiment for a lot of people that watch this show, that watched the original." And Stone Cold Jeremy, thank you for the great comment, dude. Yeah, I completely agree.
Well, the way they set up the first half of first season, it was constant, especially the first 6 episodes was like,
amazing.
They kept the hammer down on you. So by the time that you had a chance to really reflect, you had just been through so much already with these characters.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed. I think like what pulled me in and Stone Cold Jeremy, for me, it was after I watched the mini, but after I warmed up to it a lot after I watched the mini series, and I was excited, hoping that it would be a show. But when the very first episode of season 1, when 33 came out, 33 was what hooked me, like right from the jump. 33 was what got me into like, I want to see this every week.
Me too. I think that the first season is a masterpiece, and though afterwards there are some ups and downs in the writing and ups and downs in the choices. And not a lot of them are good, but not a lot of them are bad. It's just not quite as consistent and strong as that first season. But I will tell you this, that I completely agree with Stephen's assessment of that first season, because the first season is actually so good that any of these little minor infractions that happen beyond the first season, that the first season is so good that you will overlook any mistakes made thereafter because of the way that it grabs you, exactly the way that Stephen described.
Yep, Brightest Day tells us 33 and Water are just as heavy as the miniseries. Just a normie, Scott says, I loved 33. And Tony said 33 and Water are what hooked him. So we're getting a lot of feedback on that. I watched 33 twice when I did the review episode. I forgot how much I loved it. That one is, I think that should be like a sci-fi television classic, just 33 on its own. That's an iconic episode.
Yeah, it's the birthplace of a cult following, and it's as epic as TOS. It's as epic as the first Battlestar Galactica. It's really, really, really good writing.
Just a normie, Captain's Hand with the Pegasus was also another good episode, dude. Oh, Scott, I love you for that comment. Yes, that's one of my favorites in season 2 for sure. So, all right. If we want to pick up and continue.
Okay, so we cut to Starbuck. She's tracked down Enzo to yet another alcove. It's clear he's a drug dealer. They share no conversation on camera. We just cut to a discussion between Kat and Starbuck. They're in some semi-empty cargo area. They have it out. Kat confesses she's a professional drug runner and people smuggler. She assumed the identity of a woman who died on Caprica. Starbuck accuses her of aiding in the Cylon seeding of the human population before the attack on the colonies through the negligence of criminal behavior and the ignorance of the possible ramifications. Kat begs Starbuck not to tell the admiral. Starbuck leaves without answering Kat. Then we join Gaius, who is brought by Beers to the hybrid. Gaius rolls up his sleeve to touch the hybrid, modeled entirely after the Greek mythology of the seer, and is immediately grabbed by the hybrid. She talks about eyes and cows and lets him go. Beers says, "It only speaks nonsense." Gaius replies that he believes nothing it says is nonsense. Gaius somehow works out that the babbling bath lady is referring to a Homeric epithet of Hera in Greece, Hellenic. She tends cows, and that's something that Hera does, right? She makes sure that cattle don't get sick. Here, though, we see the writing team try to tie Hera into the Egyptian god Hathor, the god of cattle. Then, for no reason, they start talking about Hera's husband Zeus. Then, equally inexplicable, Beers says, could there be a connection between their gods and ours? Well, at this point, I'm left asking who, and why are you using a plural? Skin jobs believe in monotheism. Gaius cuts in and says, it's a location. Of course, because Zeus is Jupiter in Rome. So now everyone's in the pool. Jesus, the Greeks, the Egyptians, the Romans, and every religion that believes in reincarnation. Gaius massages the riddle a little bit further. Zeus is a star cluster. The hand is an artifact. I don't know how we got here, but it's a little comical. And I'm going to stop there to get anyone's feedback on how this riddle me this turns into everybody in the pool commentary. What are your thoughts, gentlemen?
I mean, considering that the backstories are, I don't think the backstories are entirely accurate because they're inspired by Earth myth, but we're talking about different type of civilizations. So
yeah, I think
this is all over the place. It's like how many people are going to shove in the pool here? Like, there are only 55 people allowed in the hot tub. Get out.
Well, that's what I said. This is a reflection of Earth, but they have to condense it because that's what it is.
Yeah,
for sure.
And up to this point, I mean, if you're the average viewer and you've watched through the entire show up to this point, it's pretty well established. Okay, Cylons have the monotheistic standard. The Colonials have the polytheistic standard, and there really was no convolution. It's when they get into this unneeded sort of I guess, exploration into the origin of their religions, which I don't think that they really had to do because we
didn't need to.
We knew enough already.
I can't believe that you two just said that because that's exactly what I was going to put in my comments. Wow, this is totally unnecessary. Like, why? Yeah. Why are you doing this? If the geeks in the audience aren't a little fatigued from the convolution, then the nerds who are academic and they're watching this are like, what? WTF? Where are we going with this? So the geeks are fatigued by the convolution. And the nerds think that this is just like, are you putting everything in this soup, including the sink?
Yeah, and this is one time, and rightly so. Listen, folks, just to clarify to those of you listening out there, those of you watching in real time right now, on this show, even though that we widely enjoy this program, we will give constructive criticism when it's deserved. When we will criticize writing when it leaves something to be desired, and this is one of those cases where again, this was a very unnecessary thing. It wasn't needed whatsoever, and if anything, it overcomplicated a concept that is something that we already knew,
Yeah.
and you know it as a viewer going in. So I want to hear what Culture has to say on this, because I want to see if he.
Well, I won't be nearly as harsh on it as you guys are, or as hard on it as you guys are. I didn't mind the little theological, event here, mixing everything together, because ultimately, the concept of unity is an overriding theme in the show,
Okay.
right? And so when I look at it, I'm like, okay, it's one of those moments where we have far more in common than we do that are different.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, while I thought it was unnecessary, because I agree with you there, it didn't pull me completely out of the show, where I was like, spending a couple of minutes thinking about it. But
it did for me, because I'm like, how is Gaius massaging this riddle in this way? Like how many religious books? Does he have a doctorate in theology? And why is he deploying all of that into this and reading into it? To me, it was really like rolling the bones. I've never seen anyone just say that because somebody said, what does she say? She says something about, cow eyes. So from cow eyes, we get Hera, then we get the Egyptian god, then we get Beer saying that their gods and our gods, plural. And then somehow out of all of that, we find out that Jupiter is in a cluster and there's an artifact with 5 hands on it. So it's like, whoa.
I think when she said ours, I think she meant ours as in the community of Cylons, like our god.
Yeah, but she says gods. Anyways,
that
the bed on this scene. This is a poopy scene with lots of poop on it.
That was a real fuck up, because when she said gods, it really did kind of convolute the thing. And
but they've referred to them as the old gods or your gods. And again, you guys are being overly pedantic. I just think, look, the idea that Gaius would be someone who was informed on these things isn't surprising to me. Scientists go out of their way to try to explain away the things that they consider, superstitious or myths, with science, rather than, getting to the point that perhaps there are things that just we lack the ability to have an understanding, to explain them away. That's unfortunate, but it happens. And I didn't mind. Again, I didn't mind it so much. Like I said, I see you guys, a perspective. It didn't cast me out of the show. It wasn't.
It didn't take me out of the show. But it was just, to me, it was kind of a little bit of, that's all.
I encourage everyone to go back and watch that scene and ask yourself, how would I teach rhetoric, so maybe that's the problem here. But the way that he riddles the fact that she says cow and then I, and somehow we not only get Hera, but we also get Zeus, and then and then we wind up with, massaging it to the point where there's a star cluster and an artifact, and then even mentions that the 5 will be in that star cluster or whatever. Just go back and watch it, and just watch his riddle skills and entertain what I'm saying, because holy leaps and bounds from out of nowhere, wowzers! If I drew those kinds of conclusions from rhetoric, wow. It's just, for me, it pulled me out of the show.
You would be a Ronald D more then. So
well, I don't know. I think maybe this is more that stuffing the sausage thing. It's just like, look, too much.
But we already had Hera mentioned. We've already had all of these gods mentioned before. It's these 13 colonies. They're all familiar with their theologies, right? Every
Well, no,
colony
just
is-
each one of them worships a different Greek god.
Different pantheons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the pantheon of the 13.
but they're all going to be familiar with all of them. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just, you're going to know, like, I understand the practices of Judaism, as much as, the differences between the different Protestant faiths.
Mhm.
So it doesn't take much to explain each of those religions' theological positions, and and sum them up easily.
Mm-hmm.
So if in a more learned person, may have a greater understanding of those things. Again, we also know that his background, his upbringing was from a very humble beginning.
Yeah, he's an atheist, right? He
Yeah.
always
Yeah,
says,
yeah,
I'm an
yeah.
atheist.
Yeah.
But he grew up elsewhere under we don't know what yoke, and he made his way to Caprica,
They
abandoning.
mentioned it in season 4. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, sorry, I'm jumping ahead a bit. We don't have the background information that provides the context for this.
All right.
So I like I said, I mean, I'm not saying that it couldn't have been done better. I'm not saying it's not like challenging writing in any way. I just I'm not going to jump down somebody's throat because we haven't been presented with the information that'll explain this.
We have spent more time talking about this scene than I cared to watch it, and I was like, okay, can we get back to the star cluster now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'm so sorry if you.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry if you feel that anyone has jumped down anyone's throats. I just think that the whole riddle that he's able to decipher
I totally
out of
get it.
mere breadcrumbs is just it was too big of a leap of faith
He's a
for me.
super smart person, Raquel.
I
Yeah,
understand.
super smart.
Okay,
Yeah.
so back on Galactica, Kat's hair is falling out with Starbuck's words, "Accept who you are," ringing in her head. Kat goes and meets with her greasy onion ring, Enzo. They bump uglies. We get some soaring music as we follow the exhaustion of the pilots and Kat's countenance. We're shown her radiation detectors multiple times. A suicide element is unfurled. We go to the 5th run. Kat loses another ship, the Farusidin, a ship named after a Buddhist monk from the Tang dynasty in China and the Islamic word for desert greenery. Truly, everyone is in the pool. Then we go to Galactica, and other ships are broken down and battered. In the CIC, Adama orders an all jump. Lee executes. A beautiful planet awaits. Starbuck points out that Kat's missing. We go to the CIC where the Faru Sadin and Kat are called out as missing. All the pilots stand before the duty board. I'm missing a page. Oh,
There's
here we
a
go.
yeah.
Oh boy. Whew. We go back to Kat in the star cluster searching for the Faru Sadin. Everyone in the CIC is rooting for her, holding their breath when suddenly the Dreadus rings. It's Kat and the Faru Sadin. Kat reports in. We cut to Kat disembarking and being deconned. Everyone is waiting for her on the hangar. They applaud her as a hero. She raises her arms in victory and falls unconscious. Then we cut to... Oh, go ahead.
The very first time I watched this episode, they timed that so perfectly for me because I thought that was she's not coming back. They were lost. I just wanted to make that mention because I remembered that when I watched it again earlier today. Good timing. I mean, good writing.
It was very impactful, dude. I agree with you. Before we wrap it up, Raquel, I just want to catch up with the chat here. The Time Prophet points out in the original BSG, the Vipers couldn't bank, not because of the physics of spaceflight and inertia, but because ships were on strings. He's very much correct from back then. Which was kind of cool. I mean, there's something to be said about that. It was kind of neat at the time when you were a little kid back then. Yeah. A lot of comments in the chat. Like a lot of people enjoyed Razor. Toxic Man Flu mentions Blood and Chrome.
Yes.
Big discussion about Razor and Blood and Chrome.
Yep.
And Brightest Day, my man, bringing up BSG Deadlock, dude. I play this game. I love this game.
Oh, really?
Very cool stuff about the first Cylon War. There's a great story in that video game. Very cool. It's if you've never played it, it's available for the computer on Steam. You can pick it up. It's fairly decently priced, and you will enjoy the story. And if you get the DLC, there's even more story in that. And there's also a lot of really cool tie-ins to both shows. And I really enjoyed it. But it's a strategy game, so if you don't like strategy, it might not be your cup of tea. But it is every bit a strategy game. And then Toxic Man Flu said the Star Cluster is Zeus's sphincter.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your comment, Tony. I love you very much. That's a very sweet thing to say. Thank you so much.
Oh man, Time Prophet, we're gonna fight. I like the Pegasus. Damn you. Oh man. Oh god. Mark D with the C. Toxic Man Flu. Battlestar Gigantaballs. Oh man. Yep. Tehillim says So he kind of agrees with what
we actually kind of like what Tehillim before when we've discussed this. We actually we all love that. Do you know what I mean? Like I know that Stephen and I have talked about that in the past because it's really nice that they're trying to put all of the religions together. It's sort of like the birthplace of humanity, where we got all of our religions from.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the fact that here they do it so quickly and they put so much into it that it feels sloppy. So I should clarify that I'm not opposed to that idea. I just think that they just tried to stuff way too much into this episode, and it left a lot of questions and a sort of, wow, they rushed through that, and that's why I'm dissatisfied. But with that one scene, I mean, I still own a $60 Battlestar Galactica shirt that was that was hand drawn by somebody in Europe. So I'm not going to quit the whole.
Like we said so many times
BSG.
before, this show is so well written, and that it's easy to overlook the petty problems.
Exactly.
And isn't it nice that the show is always trying to do more instead of trying to do less? I'm willing to forgive it because it's always trying to do more, not less.
Yeah, no trans, non-binary characters. It's great. Yeah, great. No geodes.
Toxic Man Flu said Battlestar Bodacious. Nice. Brightest Day loves your quote. Oh man.
Yeah, wow. It's like, dude.
Massage that riddle.
Yeah.
Man.
Stroke it.
Tehillim says it might be playing on some of the morality between the religions.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
And we love that aspect of it.
Time Prophet said at least they didn't say the old gods.
Or the old ones. If they said the old ones, I would have thrown stuff at the TV and left.
Toxic Man Flu, that is a Battlestar I would command, right? Oh man. Time Prophet said they should have kept to the Egyptian theme, alluding to
I wish that there had been more. That's one thing I was disappointed in with this.
He wanted the old school 1978 Egyptian mythos.
Well, I didn't mind them adding to it. I just wish it had more prevalence in the series.
Yeah. And I think that if it would have been consistent like that throughout, where they were always mixing, I think that would have been great. But there have been some slip ups. I mean, one time they tried to turn worry beads, which aren't religious in Greece, into like prayer beads from Catholicism and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's not perfect, but you know what? No writing can be perfect, and certainly not a show that you're writing every single day and then a bunch of people get up and perform it. It's impossible for it to be perfect, but it doesn't mean we don't love it.
I don't think that it should be perfect when reflecting the religious characteristics of the different religions, because it's an imitation. It's not directly reflected from Earth. It's just it's something that it mimics or shows an interwoven thread between then and now, and a cycle that keeps on returning. So as long as the themes remain generally the same, I don't have a problem with like reimagining certain aspects or melding certain aspects of different religions from different times together. But yeah, when it's too much, like I totally agree with you about that. It was just a little too much. Like, it takes you out of it.
Yeah. All right. Mark D of the Sea says the Egyptian theme was cool in the original, especially with all the theories about aliens building the pyramids. Yes,
See, and that's my feeling. That's always been my feeling. I have always found that incredibly intriguing. Who mourns Adonis? That whole idea that somebody was here before and left something and then returned it's such an intriguing idea in science fiction. I completely agree with you, Mark D with the C. I would have loved to have seen more of it.
Well, it got me so much more involved in thinking about ancient religions, the cradle of civilization, that era, like the oldest known era that that's documented, that we have any history from, all the way back to clay tablets. But there was so much to pull from the Egyptians that's what the theme of that show was. And that's why I wish, because that's what got me into what I know about that religion in that time period. It got me into looking up ancient civilizations, got me looking into that area of the world from ancient times. It kept me interested in that. Like the original Battlestar really was a big influence to who I am today. And so when they didn't show that, when they didn't have that representation in the show, I was upset. But I wasn't. The writing is so good that even though I wish that had been there, I still enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
I like how Time Prophet says, why is nobody in Battlestar Galactica not religious? And I love that because I'm an agnostic. So we have Gaius, who is an atheist. And we have all of these religions being thrown in like an overstuffed soup. But no one is an agnostic. And it's quite intriguing because, it's basically like I sort of feel that that's the birth of my agnosticism, which is of course the apology of Socrates. So I totally agree, Time Prophet, and great comment.
And again, they left out the Pastafarians. I mean, so
yeah, I want to wear a colander on my head.
Fucking ramen.
Hail, Stephen Ernest. Great to see you, buddy. They named the little girl Hera. Baltar is almost Baldar, Norse name. Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff thrown in here. And that's the thing. Sometimes it just gets convoluted, and I totally get it. And hail, Makini.
Hey, Mac.
Hey, a Roof Korean, Tony, he's got something at 41 minutes past the hour that I would like to explore. It's something I don't know, and Tony's good at teaching us about BSG. So I'd like to explore that comment and have it read, please.
Hail Vistra, man. Good to see you. Tony said this was where she wanted too much money and they decided to write her off. Just kidding, Kat. No, and Tony, here's the deal. Like listen, Kat's character was never meant to be what it was. It just grew, and she became a favorite of the showrunners as far as like the work she put in. The presence that she had when she was acting out the character, and they decided to expand Kat, the same as they did to a degree with Hot Dog. Yeah. And it wasn't just because Bodhi almost was, EJO's son. It was because like he genuinely did a good job with the character and made it unique. And so these characters that were meant to be very minor actually ended up with, when you look at it, considerably deep storylines within themselves. So
Dwala, the same case with Dwala, Drew.
Yeah, well, I'm talking just specifically amongst like some of the minor pilot characters.
Yes. I understand, but I think that just Wow, the
Well,
acting is so good on this show
yeah.
that I think a lot of people were written with stronger parts or longer lasting parts, just because everybody brought their all to this show. They really tried, they really cared, and they made something truly beautiful.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead. It's at we're at 10:48 p.m. East Coast time. I want to kind of keep it moving. So Raquel, if you want to go ahead and wrap us up.
Okay, so we cut to Kat in the infirmary. She's in rough shape. Starbuck is standing over her. Kat requested Starbuck visit so they, quote, didn't end on bad terms. Starbuck offers her an apology and enough sleeping pills to take her own life. It's a move of mercy. Kat thanks her. Starbuck leaves. The Admiral walks in. He promotes the dying Kat as CAG. She tries to confess, but the Admiral refuses. He sits with her. He tells Kat stories to comfort her. All the pilots stand before the duty board as the Admiral places Kat's name at the top as CAG. We cut to the hallway of the Shrine for the Dead as Starbuck pins Kat's photo to it. She's joined by Lee in the background. The episode ends.
Yeah, I thought closing that loop between Kara and Kat, and Kara finally acknowledging the fact that Kat was a damn good pilot, she was a damn good officer, and that there was respect there after all, and the fact that I think Kara finally looked at Kat as a comrade, and that was and that was huge for me. I really liked that they ended in that manner. And then I thought that the tribute was very good. The tribute that they did for Kat, and listen, it was a great send off because the character of Kat became a favorite among people watching the show from her beginning as just one of the nuggets and defying the odds and being like one of the better pilots out of that class, like her and Hot Dog, the only two surviving pilots of that class, coming so far. I mean, they came so far, and Kat was one of those things that one of those people that you rooted for. So, there were times she was bitchy in her own right, and you thought that, you were like, oh God, shut up, Kat. But but most times, she was portrayed in a good light. She was portrayed as, a heroic character, and a lot of people became a fan, and including myself. She's not on Starbuck level with me, but Kat was still like kind of a sentimental favorite. So I thought the send off they had for the character was really well done, and yeah, it was really cool. And I like that he gave her the CAG title, posthumously. I thought that was a classy touch. And
he's top shelf. I mean, you talk about a classy guy, and it's. I really thought that that the moments that were shared between Kat and Starbuck and Adama and Kat were wonderful, and we would all hope to have someone there at the end that was guiding our last moments and in that way.
Yeah. So. So yeah, I thought it was really good. Stephen, what did you think of the tribute and how it ended?
I thought it was nice. Starbuck come in there and was like, "Hey, here you go. You can end it now. Good luck." I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, nice girl." No, I really I actually liked it. It was a good ending, good fitting ending for a character that we've known for a while, and she was even though she was being self-destructive, she was doing it in a heroic way. So cheers. I enjoyed making her CAG for a day. That was nice. That was really nice.
Yeah. Mark D. Ulysses said, just right, Kat was in a deleted scene in Maelstrom. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Yeah, I think that yeah, all in all, like her character, Hot Dog's character, they brought a lot to the show, even with limited screen time. So you know, that was awesome. I don't know, Raquel, what did you take away from the final sequence?
I think it's good. Like overall, I think it's a wonderful a story of redemption, where somebody can get even past a criminal history to emerge as a hero, and that the nature of good and evil, that it bleeds in and out of a line. It's not a line that you're either over, under, or on the other side of. So I love a good redemption story, and in this one, pretty explicit in the fact that people don't have to explain their shady or criminal past that they're not proud of. They actually don't have to flesh that out for you. They can their new actions, their present, and the future they created is all you need to go by. So I think that that's essential in the philosophy of a redemption story. um I don't know. I don't. For me, I personally didn't enjoy killing off a character in a single episode, because I don't know. I don't think that we needed to check on the menage a trois in this episode. I think it was, like I said earlier, I think that there was just too much ground to cover. And if we were going to say goodbye to Kat, I would have liked to have seen it happen over a couple of episodes, especially because that boy or guy that's rolled in greasy French fries, they knock boots. Why does she do that? And some people would say, well, she's resigned herself to killing herself now. That's why that's happening. Well, I think that the Cat character deserved more than that. And so I sort of felt like this was an overstuffed episode, and that it all happened a little bit too quickly, and that they tried to put too much into one episode. But as far as this final scene, on the heels of all of that, there were so many cool things that we could have done with this redemption story, because the writers in this room are so careful and almost loving with these stories of people who are injured internally, like with PTSD, with rape, with turning over a new leaf. And that sounds very trite, but there's no other way to describe this transformation that Kat went through. And I just thought it was too rushed.
Okay, fair enough. All right. I do want to point out a couple of the comments in the chat before I get thoughts from Culture Casino here and whatnot, because we're gonna give our final thoughts and the score and whatnot shortly. But I know the Time Prophet mentioned that something about this being the Starbucks show, and for some people, yeah, I could see that argument that that she gets arguably too much screen time sometimes, but I personally didn't feel that way about the show. I mean, there were episodes that were Kara-centric, but I didn't think the overall the show was. I thought it focused squarely on Adama and Rosalind, really. And that was where I always kind of thought it was, but the old man was definitely in control before I thought Starbuck was. Although, yeah, listen, she was a major focal point, but I have to take some I would say I have to disagree with you somewhat on that, Time Prophet. And hey, look, it's a fair point, because there's been times I've seen people even upon first airing when the show was still on at the time. I remember on our old forums and message boards that was a big argument of some people. So, I totally understand where you're coming from. All right. Culture. What were your final thoughts and a score overall on this episode?
Good talk, Culture.
Yeah.
You know what? I have to unmute the microphone, Steven, you jerk.
It's not my fault.
No, it takes me a second because, I'm being polite to other, people on the show.
Rub some Bengay on it, buddy. You'll be all right.
Speaking of rubbing things on other things, Steven, you should probably see some specialist about all those splinters in your dick. Anyway, let's see. I think this is about a 7.5. I think it's a very good episode. I enjoyed it a lot. I would have rated it higher. There were a couple of things in it that, and not the religious stuff that everybody else seemed to have an issue with, but there were a couple of points in it that I thought were unnecessary. Like Raquel was saying that the wading in the water, was maybe a little overdone. I think that she's right when it comes to the sex scenes. I mean, reinforcing the constant menage a trois thing. I don't know that it added anything to the story.
It added something to my life.
Please continue, CC.
And I feel like overall, this kind of got you. This kind of got you to the right place to have an end for Kat. I think they executed it very, very well. And again, those last few moments are heartbreaking to me. Mm-hmm. So I like I said, my takeaway was they did a very fine job with this 7.5, because like I said, there were some unnecessary elements. There was also some unnecessary space-time crap with all the shit and everything else. And I wanted to not poke a hole in any of that when we were talking about it earlier. But I mean, they could have plotted the jump, or like they could have plotted a jump that would have worked.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
And also the fact that whole thing at the top, like I was saying about how the nature of the penetration of the ships through the radiation. We're wondering where how the people are dispersed, right? So yeah, it's like we spent all that time gazing at this spatial anomaly or star cluster, or whatever you want to call it, a space sandstorm, and we could have used that time more judiciously in fleshing out those ideas.
Yeah. I just, like I said, I mean, one of the things that's the biggest problem that I have when I'm writing, and because right now I'm writing the script for my film, my short film, and one of the things I always bump my head up against is this a necessary element in the story? Yeah. Can I leave this out and still, so it's a problem, because you get like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 scenes in, and then you're like, okay, is this scene necessary?
Yeah.
Does it add to the character? Does it add to the story? Can these things be connected together? Without even bothering to tell it, because with a project like what I'm working on, you want the minimum number of shooting days. You don't want to add an additional day for something that's going to end up on the cutting room floor, so to speak.
So threesomes in your movie?
Yeah.
Well, even if there are menage a trois in his screenplay, the thing is having this mass exodus through this spatial anomaly that's not really explained very well, and then the transport of the entire human colony that's not really explained very well, plus the menage a trois, plus killing off a character, all in one episode. That is a very full cup of tea. There is tea in the saucer. There is no room for sugar. There is no room for milk. It's sad.
Oh, I love that quote.
I really like what Toxic points out here. Sci-Fi Channel missed a boat. There are so many side character stories they could have released online or at special events, much like Cat and Hot Dog. And yes, they could have, because Toxic, if you remember, at the time the show was on, they did like some companion webisodes to kind of flesh out certain story elements, and those actually really worked. They were good. And had they done that format with some of the character stuff, I think that would have been a winner. So I think you're on to something there, buddy. Yeah. So I agree with you on that. I think that was important. And yeah, culture. To your point, that they could have plotted a different jump. Rip Korean says they could have just went around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's right. So, all right, thanks. That was
just wait 1 second here. We have a comment at 9:01 p.m. Well, it's 9:01 on my side, so 1 minute past the hour from the Time Prophet. He says, "Why didn't the Cylons just leave them alone?"
Well, then we
Time
wouldn't have had a
Prophet,
show.
I wish that you were with us from the beginning when we started this writers' room to discuss Battlestar Galactica. If you would please go and get a copy of The Modern Prometheus. It is the original story by Mary Shelley that is the modern story that people know as Frankenstein. It's not really like anything you've seen on screen. The story is not anything like, this Frankenstein's monster and so on and so forth. It really is the story of this daemon in the Greek sense, and what it's like to play God, to create something, and then have it turn on you after you are cruel to it. And so Ronald D. Moore has 1000%, beyond a shadow of a doubt, read this very first work, which is widely agreed upon, the very first work of science fiction, the Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, The Modern Prometheus. And so that's what we're actually seeing here as we watch. So the human beings have played Victor Frankenstein, and they have used technology. They've opened up themselves to playing God, and the daemon that they have created came back and did not like what it saw, so it began murdering its creator. So I highly recommend picking up Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It's actually called The Modern Prometheus inside of the cover. It is the first work of science fiction, and it is the book on which the concept of this show is based. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and I want to answer a question from Brightest Day. Wasn't this a series that birthed the webisode idea? I'm not 100% positive on that. Time Prophet asked, wasn't that Stargate? And I almost want to agree with Time Prophet. I think Stargate did it, but BSG was right up there with them. This happened about the same time. So, I wasn't sure which one was before the other, but I know both of them hopped on it rather quickly, and they were, both of them were first on that level. So, all right. Raquel, oh, by the way, what did you say for a score?
Oh, yeah. So too much ground to cover. This is a beautiful redemption story. They killed off a character in a single episode. We didn't need to check on the menage a trois. Didn't like the ham-handed stuff by throwing all of the religion into one cauldron in 30 seconds, or the Riddler crap. Yeah, other than that, it's Battlestar Galactica. Still better than anything on television today. 7.5.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And author Stephen Walton. Stephen, what did you think?
I'm not a hater of scenes of dudes having sex with two hot women, although there was no nudity. But you take what you can take. I know. You didn't really need any of those scenes in this episode. There was a lot packed into it. I do agree with that. It's a great show. 7. I give it a 7, but I'm going to get a 7.5 because of the complete extremes of Cara Thrace walking in and going, "Hey, yeah, you did a good job. Here's something to kill yourself." And then Adama coming in and just sitting with this dying woman and consoling her. Not one of the best episodes I've ever seen. Definitely some touching moments. A little bit too much packed into it. 7.5.
All right.
Just wait 1 second here. There's a super important follow-up question. Time Prophet is discussing the nature of daemon or demon. I would like you to turn to the Apology of Socrates, where he discusses the nature of the human soul, the human spirit, in the absence of God. So that is the reference to daemon. A daemon is something very specific, not a demon, but a daemon. So this is the spirit electrified into this cobbled flesh. And it is an ungodly creation, not a demon per se. But I would, before you decide that it's a demon, I would please ask you to entertain the Apology of Socrates and look to his explanation of a daemon, this spirit that follows him, that is not of God and may perhaps be of himself.
And this is why I love Raquel, because I would have told you that a Damon is the captain of a Ferengi ship.
Yeah, exactly. That's
where I would have went.
That's what I would
the
say
nature
too.
of daemon is very important to sort of come to yourself and look at the philosophy behind it and the description of the word within the context of its etymology, its creation, and its usage throughout history. It would not necessarily be demonic in the Judeo-Christian sense.
Yeah.
Well said.
All right. So for me, I got to say this episode, it's one of the more impactful ones of the season. This is definitely one of my guilty pleasure favorites for this season. I'm going to go plot twist though, and from a technical sense, if I'm just looking at this through the lens of a critic, I give it a 6.5. I actually have the lowest score. So, because again, there was a lot of minutia, a lot of things stuffed in, some unneeded exposition. But overall, the episode really was good, and it did still hold the viewer. There were a number of things, like the send off for Kat was great. Her heroic moments were great. There was a lot to enjoy. I love the fact that they made her CAG at the end. I love the fact that they, paid off the thing between her and Kara before Kat passed away. So it was good, but there was just too much unneeded stuff that they could have used in another episode or in the episode following. Or they could have spread this out over a two-parter to make it more coherent.
Yeah.
That being said, it was still a good episode. But I have to take points off. I have to take marks off because, if we're being honest here, I mean, that's just where I'm at. So 6.5, but, in my heart, it's probably an 8. I'm just being real.
Okay. That's all right. You're allowed to do that.
So that's that. All right, we'll go around the horn. We'll let everybody talk about what they're doing, where to find each other, what kind of content you're working on. So with that, we will start with Raquel. So go ahead, Raquel. Tell them where to find you.
Well, first of all, I would just like to say thank you to Drew for having me on the panel tonight. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be here. And thank you for creating this space for Battlestar Galactica. I would like to thank my fellow panelists. Stephen, I just absolutely love you. I've missed you so much. It was great to spend time with you. And Cece, thank you so much for taking the time to share your insights with us. It was terrific to discuss this with you this evening. I'd also like to thank the moderators. Thank you so much for helping us to produce this show and for creating a sense of community here where people can answer questions and people can get information and just being friendly and funny and just showing everyone a great time. I love you so much. And thank you so much to the chat for supporting this channel and this show. If you would, please share this channel and please share this show and smash the like button and your notification buttons. You can find my published nonfiction. I'm a communications and technology scholar at academia.edu. It's some stuff that I've written that's been in textbooks and at international conferences and things like that. But other than that, I write science fiction. I write short stories, and they're a little bit like the old-timey Twilight Zone mixed with Edgar Allan Poe. And you can get those on Amazon.com. You can get them through your Kindle reader. Other than that, you can find me here on the Pegasus Actual podcast with this illustrious crew. You can also find me on Clobberin' Times. We do a show called Saturday Night Star Trek, where we explore 66 to 05, the original Gene Roddenberry vision of Star Trek. And that's about it for me.
All right. And we go over to author Stephen Welton.
Hey, hail to the chat. Thank you guys for being here with us tonight. Hail to my panelists. Good to spend time with you too, Raquel. Doing a lot of work right now, but we will have a live stream on Saturday for Rogue Entertainment at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stop by there. Have a lot of fun. And then we're going to have TR4. I'll enter the unfamiliar who is on a mission to get monetized. So please help that brother out. And then we're going to be moving over the show over to Wes Moody webcast. I'm looking forward to doing that because Wes Moody is another one of many of the unfound greats that we have in this community. And so, guys, please go check them out too. I think I'm going to be on Comics Division shortly, and I'm looking forward to that. Thank you guys so much for being here and supporting the channel, supporting the chat, supporting the show. We really enjoy talking about this show and doing it with you guys. Take care of yourself. Be good to each other, and peace.
All right, and we go over to the man with the greatest hair in the community, Culture Casino.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for being here tonight. I would like to reflect everything that Raquel said. It was brilliant. Thank you. And thank you all for being here. Without you, we wouldn't have a show. And I wouldn't get to hang out with my friends talking about one of the shows that I loved when it was running, guys, almost 20 years ago.
Oh, geez. Oh, man. It really has been that long.
Yeah, 2021, 17 years ago. So we're getting there.
Let me count my grays.
Yeah, consider this that I watch this thing multiple times every year. That's how much I love the show. Of course, I watch a lot of series multiple times. It informs a lot of what I see now. So, in my opinion, I should say, on what I see now, and it allows me to be able to compare the storytelling that we used to get versus what we get now. Even when it's this type of storytelling, which is more on the progressive side of things. And like I said, I mean, you can still present, each side of these coins. You just have to do it with a good story. But other than that, I think Stephen and I think he's right. I think we're off other places, but we love hanging out with our buddy Drew. And of course, Raquel, I've been missing you. So I hope everybody has a great evening, and I hope to see you guys all tomorrow. There's so much more to talk about on so many other shows. So thanks for being here, guys.
Is it wrong that I want Raquel to arrest me?
No, I think that's a given, dude. I think that's a universally shared thought amongst the crowd and us. So, yeah, of course, I am Supreme Heretic. You can find me here on my channel, youtube.com/Supreme Heretic. We've been doing well. I appreciate the subs. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the wonderful thoughtfulness tonight, the tips. Because again, I know we're not monetized, so that really does help, and it's nice because people can super chat in their own way, and I really do appreciate that. So thank you. You can find me all around the community. I'm on a lot of the Rogue Entertainment shows. I'm also on Redline Radio on Wednesdays. I do a 2-hour talk show for them. And, also this show, which is my favorite of the week, the Pegasus Actual podcast. And then, of course, also later Wednesday nights, we're on Bounding Live on the Bounding Into Comics channel. So, you can catch me all over the place. But most of all, if you want to follow me on Twitter, @Supreme Heretic, I always kind of tweet out what's going on. And I'm never shy about my opinions. I am definitely one of the people that is pro free speech, pro 2A, pro American. and I will always be speaking out about that. You can count on it. So I'm on the front lines fighting the culture war, and I'm right out there with everybody else that believes in old-fashioned values.
Did you say your prayers and take your vitamins?
Oh, you know it, brother.
All right.
All right. But thank you, folks, again, for watching this evening. Thank you for hanging out with us. And I love y'all and appreciate you. All right. We will see you next week. Till then, so say we all.
So say we all.